Hey folks, taking a look at the custom diecast I made of the Anthony Alfredo flip from Kansas. It was a couple of weeks back. I don't get to do very many damaged cars, it's always kind of fun. This one actually, when you go look at the replay, it wasn't, damaged in the terms of it being beat up and like rolled down a hill like a lot of other flipped cars are. There was definite body damage, but a lot of it was just panels being sheared off, like the back. Because it's a composite body car, that's why it's kind of divided up, because they kind of came loose when he rolled. The back was sheared off, which in reality goes about from here, takes all of that around to the other side off, and then the front, the lower part of the bumper was taken off, and this was kind of broken off here, so this was all hanging, like barely attached. I couldn't really do that. In terms of like cutting pieces off physically. I had a Dremel that I kind of just took it all apart. I was afraid to do the full thing because I didn't know how the car would hold up trying to put it back together, because if you bend it too much and start to take the integrity out of it, the windows don't fit back in and then you're kind of sunk. This, I didn't want to have something hanging here because I feel like it could have snapped off, or if whoever owns it next may not come properly. So I decided just to leave it on there. But there wasn't any other, like, sometimes when I do the crashed cars, I'll have a blowtorch I'll take to heat the metal up, and when it gets hot enough, it'll start to warp, so you can, like, take a tool and kind of, like, bend it, or, like, rumple it all up, and that creates pretty realistic damage. But I didn't have to do that with this one, because it was really just, the car did a gentle roll down. And most of what you see here is just decal work. Because it's a white painted car, I could just add the airbrush effects onto the decals that I was making, which was nice because I didn't have to do the back. So all of this is just one piece of decal. I used a lot of the airbrush and flecking effects in Photoshop to just kind of go over everything to make it look like it didn't. I don't know what was up with this. There was like 3 bars across, you could see when it was done rolling. I don't know if it was pressed up against the roll cage. I guess that would make sense. I don't really know how the metal works. Most of the damage was on the driver's side. This side just had some donuts and some junk going on back there. And the same with the roof. The roof is just a decal that I saw had like big scrape marks on it. I don't know how close I can get with the camera focusing for you to really tell that. And then the hood was flapping up and down, so there's some effects on there. The only painted stuff I did was around the edges. I mixed together some gray and black paint and used a Q-tip to kind of just like along top of the rails and around the edges back here and on top of the spoiler, which I think the spoiler was sheared off in the real one. I'm not sure, but if it was skidding, that would have been scraping up. And then the same thing around the front. It's a little disappointing. I wasn't able to do more with the front and back pieces. It's just how these diecasts are. They're pretty basic. I mean, the wheels don't even turn on these. They turn, but they don't steer. The cup cars, and more in years past, there was all kinds of here. I can actually take it apart because it's not screwed in. There was all kinds of detail back here and in the front with bars I could cut off or glue on, and this it wasn't just a basic piece of plastic back here. So there wasn't too much I could really do. Sorry, I have a little bit of an allergy thing going. That's why I'm so nasally. So there wasn't a whole lot I could do to the chassis and roll cage and all that to give that visible damage. So it's just a blank panel there, and not really anything going on up there. Yeah, but it turned out pretty cool. Thank you, Anthony, for getting in a wreck. Fortunately, you're all right. That I could do something with. I like doing the rollover cars. It's always fun. Don't get too many anymore. But yeah, I mean, thankfully the driver was fine. And now it's a pretty nice custom diecast. Commemorate the Kansas flip, Anthony Alfredo.